Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great week. It is Thursday, May 15th, 1:58 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, local time here in Pueblo, Colorado. That's the entrance to the Target Distribution Center. That's the security shack. And there are bobtails lined up all up and down through here. They make you drop your trailer and then they kick you off the property. And this is basically the security parking lot. This is where the security people park. And there are a bunch of trucks parked here. I don't know how many trucks. There's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would guess there's at least 20 trucks parked right here. And I asked them when I was pulling out, I was like, is it okay to park over there where all those other trucks are parked at? And they're like, yeah. So I swung in over here, and the business right next door, right on the other side of the building there, it shut down February 1st. So when I got here last night, I parked in the parking lot of that business, and I didn't have any issues. There was only one other truck parked there, and they were parked along the roadway. But when they saw me park in the parking lot, they moved out of the roadway into the parking lot. When I saw them creeping in there, I was like, you better not park right next to me. This is a massive parking lot. Don't park right next to me. And they did park close to me, but not right next to me. So, yeah, we camped out there. I was able to take it a full 10-hour break. I got there right at about 9 p.m., and took a full 10-hour break before I came over here and dropped the trailer off this morning. There was a huge line whenever I got here this morning. They just finished the line right now. I think that they just do mainly like 2 appointments. They give everybody 2 appointments. I think they give everybody 9 a.m. appointments and 2 p.m. appointments. Because whenever I came in here at like 8:30 this morning, there was a line all the way out to the road. Like, there were people parked in the roadway that couldn't get in, waiting in line. And then once they made it through all those people, then it was just people coming in and, a random person here or there doing drop and hook. And then all of a sudden around 1 p.m., the line started forming again. And they're just now finishing up the line at around 2 p.m. So I've been here for almost exactly 5 hours, and I'm hoping that they're going to have my trailer done in about 6 hours. That's kind of the expectation that I have based on the Google reviews and stuff like that. Most people say somewhere around 6 hours to get unloaded. So why does it take these grocery warehouses so long to unload trailers? Because they do piece count. They don't just count the pallets. They take every item off of the pallet and count every individual item. The piece count on my trailer, it's potato chips, and they are in boxes. So my piece count is by box, and I have 1,259 boxes of potato chips in my trailer. And how many pallets did I have? Just a second here, let me... 23 pallets. I have 2 copies of the bill of lading, and they handed me back one of the copies. They only wanted 1 copy. My guess is that they digitize everything. So they're just gonna, once they finish with the paperwork, they're probably just gonna scan it into their computer and give me the hard copy back. A lot of these shippers and receivers, well, I guess not shippers, because the shippers, you're not giving them the bill of lading, but a lot of these receivers do not understand what the bill of lading is. A lot of these receivers think that the bill of lading is theirs. And I've had them, like, I have a huge problem with them, number one, like damaging the bill of lading, rolling it up, wadding it up, putting it in their pocket, stuff like that, and that pisses me off. Oh my goodness, that pisses me off. And then I also have an issue of them like thinking that it's theirs, and you know, they'll tell me they're done. I'm like, where's the bill of lading? And they're like, oh, do you need a copy of it? No, you don't understand. It's my bill of lading. If you want a copy of it, you can get one. The original is mine. There's a lot of these receivers that don't understand that. But I'm not too worried about it since I still have a copy of it. If they try to hand me some janky mess, I'll be like, no, fill this one out instead. But yeah, whenever I hand over the bill of lading, I typically give them a little speech about how, you know, I need it to be in good condition to submit to the broker. If you damage it, I'm not going to get paid for the load, so be careful with it. That's a pretty tractor trailer. I like white trucks. If I were to pick my own color for my truck, it would be white. Pixel Express. Nice tractor, nice trailer, pretty tires. And then what in the hell do we have creeping in back here? Oh my goodness. That Peterbilt looks like it's from the 70s or 80s. And the trailer does as well. C&C Disposal. And there's crap on top of the trailer. I think the top of the trailer is damaged. And there's something sticking up on top of it. So they are most likely here to like pick up old cardboard boxes or something like that. They're C&C Disposal. I'm guessing they're some kind of garbage company. And it's common for like garbage companies to have bad equipment. So let's talk about the load. What's happening after they give me a call. So it's 609 miles if I go straight to the interstate and then I go the normal route that I'm planning on going. But the way that I came in bypasses town, and it is so nice. It's 3 extra miles, but worth it. I'm not going to have to drive through the middle of town, deal with a whole bunch of stoplights and stuff like that. It's like a nice divided highway. So I'm just going to take that route that I came in on right back out. 3 extra miles, but worth it. And top off fuel in Amarillo. And I should have enough time on my clock to sorry, I started looking at something. I should have enough time on my clock to drive all the way to Oklahoma City, 612 miles. I only used 7 minutes of drive time dropping the trailer off, believe it or not. I know DOT wouldn't believe that, but they don't need to know. Because, yeah, I logged into the sleeper berth while I was sitting here waiting in line for 40 minutes. So all I had logged on my drive time was the 2-minute drive to come from the property over on the other side of the building over to here. Then I went into sleeper berth while I sat in line, which technically should have been driving time. You might be able to get away with on duty, but it technically probably should have been driving. But I logged into the sleeper berth. On a private roadway, I might be able to get DOT to believe that sleeper berth is legal in that situation. That I can just park the truck on a private roadway and go into the sleeper while I wait for the line to clear. But then, once I got past the guard shack, then I just had a couple of minutes of drive time while I parked the trailer. And then I went back into sleeper berth, and then I went in and did the paperwork. I handed them the paperwork, got back in the truck, and did a couple minutes of drive time to drive over here and park into this spot. So yeah, only 7 minutes of drive time. So I have almost my full 11 hours of drive time. I'm going to have to use probably 15 minutes of drive time to get hooked up to the trailer is what I'm expecting. Get hooked up to the trailer, get my paperwork and all that stuff. And that should give me enough to make it all the way home. It's going to be cutting it close. What I might end up doing is driving 70 miles per hour once I get to I-40. I'm not going to drive 70 on Interstate 25 or across the highways cutting across from 25 to 40. Because the Interstate 25 between here and the highway is windy and up and down mountains. So I don't want to be driving 70 through that crap. But once I get onto I-40, once I fuel up, then it's basically just a straight line to Oklahoma City. And if it's looking like it's going to be close, I'll probably just go 70 instead of 65 on the second half of the drive. And then once I get home, I've got a bunch of stuff to do. One of the things is I figured out, I don't know for certain, but I'm fairly certain what the black stuff is in my, let me go show you actually. Let me go show you the black stuff in my fuel filter. I did some research on it. I've never experienced anything like this before. See that black stuff? Like half my fuel filter? So when fuel reaches this line, you're supposed to do something. Change the filter when the fuel reaches that level. The fuel, I don't know if you can see it, is just barely above that black line. It's right there, is where the fuel is at. And right there is the change line. And based on the research I've done, man, I have tons of brush. Sorry, I was just looking at something. Let me wiggle these wires around right here. I have an oil thermostat somewhere in here, and it's been giving me like intermittent errors, so I might have a loose wire or the thermostat might be going out. Oh wow, the coolant level dropped quite a bit. When I checked it yesterday, it was above the minimum. Now it's below the minimum. I'm going to toss some coolant in real quick. Where in the hell did all my coolant go? Let's see how much it rises up when I release some pressure with the cap. That didn't rise at all. But yeah, from what I researched, it is algae. So I've got, let's see, it's still got a decent amount. I'm seeing some, I might throw some lube on it, because I am seeing some dry spots. So whenever I finish the video, I'll throw some lube on there. But yeah, I've got some algae growth in the fuel tanks, so I need to get some biocide. And get the fuel tanks algae free. I did some research, and I think I'm going to go with a brand called Killam. And it's a lot cheaper than the big name brand. I forget what the big name brand is. But sorry, I'm just looking around at stuff. The Killam is a lot cheaper for the same amount. Plus, on top of that, it works on a lot more. So, like, oh, we have I think it's a military helicopter coming in. Black helicopters. For the same 16-ounce bottle, the Killam is $30, and the other brand, the big brand, is like $35. And these are at the cheapest places I can find them. There are places that sell them a lot more than that, like $70, $80, $100. I'm talking about cheap places like Napa, Auto Parts, O'Reilly's, places like that. But the Killam treats like 2,000 gallons, and the other major brand stuff that I can't remember the name of only treats like 320 gallons. So huge difference. And the Killam has tons and tons of good reviews. And another thing is, when I look at the ingredients, I recognize the ingredients in Killam. I don't recognize any of the ingredients in the other brand. Killam basically just has two ingredients. It has a biocide, and then it has an antifreeze. It has methanol, and then try some type of biocide. Whereas the other one has some ingredients, I don't know what in the hell they are. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with Killam. I'm going to buy it when I get home, so I don't have to spend $100 on the bottle at the truck stop. Get it for $30 at the auto parts store, and I need to get some more coolant. I don't know, like, I hear that certain brands of trucks require oil and certain brands require coolant. Like, I hear that Detroit's burn oil, so you're having to constantly add oil to Detroit engines. My engine burns absolutely zero oil, none whatsoever. I never have to add oil, but it does go through quite a bit of coolant. I would say I go through about a gallon jug of coolant about every 3 months. I mean, it's not really bad, but a gallon of coolant about every 3 months. And I put some of that stop leak stuff in the coolant system, and that didn't really make much of any difference. And I know that part of my coolant leak is the APU, because the APU shares the main engine's coolant system. And I have put the APU in the shop several times to have the coolant leaks fixed. They have replaced all of the hoses with the coolant system on the APU and the clamps. They've replaced everything, and it still leaks. Like, immediately after they replaced it, it was still leaking, and the mechanic was just like, I don't know. I mean, I paid you to fix it. You replaced all the parts, and it's still doing the exact same thing. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be like $300. That's the way mechanics work, man. It's one of those jobs that you can be really bad at it and make a lot of money. Apparently, like, the worse you are at being a mechanic, the more money you make. You get repeat customers. These lights aren't on, are they? They look like they are on. Did I leave my damn lights on? That'll run the batteries down quick. Nope. They are in the off position. I guess it's just the sunlight so bright on them, it makes them look like they're on. Yeah, this is where we're hanging out. Now, there is a load on the load board that I could book right now, and it's with my favorite agent, one of my favorite agents. I have a few agents that I like, but Dawn with DDB Agency, Dawn Flores, of my favorite agents, she is by far the one that I've hauled the most loads with. I think I've hauled more loads for her than any agency. The only agency that might be close would be either the JQL agency with a Google account or the CGI agency with the Saya account. But I'm pretty sure she's number one by quite a ways. JQL would probably be number two, and then Saya number three. If we're looking at all time, the CGI agency with Saya. But the load is scheduled to pick up on like the 21st, which is Friday of next week. That gives me basically that gives me less than a week at home, because I'm probably not going to get home until Friday morning this week, and then I'm going to have to leave like Thursday night, maybe Friday night, to pick that load up. So I wouldn't even have like a full week at home, and I have a ton of crap to do while I'm at home. So I'm debating whether or not to book that load. It's been on the load board for like 4 or 5 hours. There are a couple of things wrong with the load, and that's the reason I haven't booked it. Number one is it's giving me almost no time at home. Number two is that it's going to the Seattle-Portland area, Terrell, Texas to Seattle-Portland, which is the type of loads I like to haul. The rate per mile is not amazing, but it's good. It's paying just a little over $3 a mile on the full rate, of which I get about 70%. It's paying a little over $6,800, and 70% of that is about $4,800. So I would get paid about $4,800 for it. That would be my gross to the truck. But it's going to downtown Seattle. And there is no truck parking anywhere near Seattle. Yes, truck parking exists in the Seattle area, but it is really hard to get a parking spot in the Seattle area. It's almost all reserved parking. What little parking, and even the reserved parking, you can't get it. Like the TA that's about 20 miles east of Seattle, like half their parking lot or more is reserved parking, and they sell out of reserved parking pretty much every night. So, like, it's hard to even get a reserved spot in the Seattle area. And for some place like the Loves at the Port of Tacoma, that place is a nightmare to get in and out of. It's nearly impossible to find a spot at that place. So doing a downtown delivery, I'm most likely not going to be able to park at the property. So I'm going to have to show up at the appointment time, which means it's probably going to be like a 8 a.m., 9 a.m. appointment time. And I'm going to have to start driving from probably 100 plus miles away from Seattle and drive into Seattle during morning rush hour, go right into downtown to do the delivery, and then leave and drive 100+ miles to find a place to park after the delivery. I'd probably deadhead all the way down to Portland is what I'd end up doing. But yeah, I haven't booked that load because I'm just not really sure how quick I'm going to be able to get everything done at home. I'm hoping to only be home for like 1 to 2 weeks. But I would really like to wait until I get home and start getting things done. And like if I get home and I get everything done this weekend and that load is still on the board on Monday, then I'll probably go ahead and book it. So that's what's going on with me right now. And there's another big line of trucks. And they're not bobtail. They're not going in there to pick up trailers that have finished being unloaded. They're bringing trailers in. Yeah. Lots and lots of in and out. I think it's probably just the companies that come in and do drop and hooks that are still getting caught up in the big line of the 2 o'clock appointment people. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up the video, throw some, let me show you how I do the fifth wheel. Alright, is it in this box or this box? You know what, I think I used the entire tube last time, so I think I'm going to have to bust out a new tube. Let me actually set the phone down for a minute while I look through here. Alright, so this is what I use. I had to go grab a new bottle of it, a new tube. Just red and tacky grease. I can't remember what I paid for it, but I remember it was a fraction of the cost of buying grease that is specially for fifth wheels. This stuff right here, I bought an entire box of these things. I want to say it was like $40 for like 12 tubes of this. And if you buy the fifth wheel grease stuff, it's like $15 for this much grease for a fifth wheel. So what I have is I have plastic putty knives. And I have black like disposable gloves, polyethylene gloves or something like that. I don't know what they're made out of. I have a box of disposable gloves. So I'll go put my disposable gloves on, pop the end of the tube, squirt some of it out onto the fifth wheel, and then I'll use the little plastic putty knife to spread it out. And then I'll use paper towels to clean it up, wrap it up in trash bags, and wrap up all the. I'll put this in a little plastic bag so it doesn't leak everywhere. But that's what we're gonna do on the fifth wheel. And I've got coolant back in there in the back. I've got a jug of oil and a jug of coolant. So I need to put in some coolant, put some grease on that fifth wheel. And I'm going to go ahead and get that done because they could call me at any minute to tell me that the trailer's ready. We're getting really close to the 6-hour mark. It might take them 10 hours, but that'll be like, I don't get paid for the entire time. They get 2 hours for free. So if it takes them 10 hours to unload, that's 8 hours at $40 an hour. That's $320. So that'll be an extra $320 on the paycheck. And I cannot remember if Landstar gets a percentage of that or not. Oh, my IFTA 25 sticker has some bubbles. Might need to get a razor blade and pop those bubbles. when I put the stickers on, it was really cold. You really want to do stickers when it's hot. They stick a lot better in heat. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the video and throw on some grease and put in some coolant. And there was some brush that I saw stuck in the grill here. It was really windy and there was crap coming all across the road when I was driving through Denver. Clean all this crap out. That's pretty much it. And then a whole bunch of coolant. I've already put like half of a gallon of coolant in it when I first left the house. And now we're probably going to put the other half a gallon in there. Yeah, air filter's good. Sorry, I'm just starting to look at stuff now. So yeah, let's wrap this up. Let me get that done so that if they call me, I can just be ready to go and not have to wait around. So, hope you're having a good one. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any driving videos on the way home. Maybe, I don't know. And I'm also unsure if I'm going to do a video while I'm at home. If I do a video while I'm at home, it'll be a load board video. And it's just going to depend on how busy I am. Because it takes me a long time to do videos since I don't edit. You know, you'd think because I don't edit that it takes me no time at all to do videos. But it probably takes me about as long to do a video as somebody that edits. Because if anything goes wrong with the video, I just start over. So imagine just sitting there recording a 2-hour-long video and then somebody walks up to me and interrupts the video. I will just stop the whole video and start a new one. Or while I'm driving, if I encounter something to where, you know, when I'm making driving videos, if something happens on the road, I'll get real quiet. Well, if I get real quiet for like a couple of minutes, then I'll just stop the video and start over once I get past whatever it is that's causing me to have to focus on the road. So yeah, I actually spend a lot of time recording driving videos, and I don't upload most of it. Probably 95% of the driving footage I've recorded has never been uploaded because it keeps getting interrupted while I'm driving. But anyway, let's go ahead and end this one before it gets interrupted and I end up having to start over so I can get all this stuff done. I had to put on another reflector here when I did my DOT inspection because they said it was faded. But I had a spare reflector. You notice these two reflectors on the mud flaps are basically identical. It's because I bought them at the same time. I had to replace this mud flap when I had a blowout. This tire right here blew out. Took the mud flap and the bar with it. So I had to replace everything. The bar, the mud flap, the reflector, everything. And I still had the reflector from the setting in the truck. And then when I did the DOT inspection, he was like, yeah, your reflector over on this side is really faded. It should probably be replaced. And I was like, well, I've got a spare. They didn't even charge me for it. They installed it. Like, they installed the reflector I had and did not charge me for it. But this is the same mechanic that tried to charge me all kinds of money to replace the seal. So I think the outside seal, I think this one out here, this gasket is called the wheel gasket, and I think the seal on the inside is called the hub seal. I don't know, I could be wrong on the terminology, but the inside seal is the one he replaced. It was leaking, which I'm starting to think that the reason that hub seal was damaged was because of this accident right here, when that kid from Ukraine that didn't have insurance ran over me with his flatbed trailer. He made a left-hand turn and his trailer went like over top of my tractor. I was bobtail, and his trailer just went over the top of me. The trailer tires caused all this damage right here. And he hit these wheels, and I think that's what damaged, because he said the hub seal itself was in good condition. It's just there was metal that had, he said that it looked like the hub had been hit really hard. There had been like some concussive force to the hub, because there was some damage inside the hub. He said the whole hub needed to be replaced. He said that I could, just clean it and put it back together and replace the seal. And he said it'd probably be good to go for a year or more. But he said the whole hub needs to be replaced. And I'm pretty sure that all that damage was caused from that Ukrainian kid with no insurance that couldn't speak English running over my truck. And unfortunately, that insurance claim is I think it's like 2 years old at this point. So I don't think that I could get, it's going to cost me like $1,500. I think they said that the hub itself, just the part, is $1,000. And then all the labor and the oil and the parts and everything they have to use to install it, it's probably going to be upwards of $1,500 to get that whole thing replaced. So that's some additional damage, most likely done, that I did not get compensated for on that accident. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, and it might be a week or so, week or two, maybe 3 weeks before I upload another video. I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping to only be home for like 1 to 2 weeks. So we'll just see if I can get a load around the time I want to leave, and how quickly I can get everything done. Hopefully I don't have any parts that I have to have shipped in or anything like that. So have a good one, and I continue waiting at Target, waiting for them to unload my trailer. It is 2:37. I've been here since 9 a.m. so that's 5 hours and 37 minutes, really close to 6 hours. So let me get this stuff knocked out. Have a good one. Good luck to you. Bye.